almost like 20 kgs more than what I am today, I would hate looking at myself in the mirror. Honestly, it was not a dream or an aspiration per se to be a blogger or an influencer. When I wore that dress that made me feel confident and my energy passed on to you, your energy again passes on to the whole room. And I knew that it's more than just your outer appearance, it's so much more your inner confidence.
How does Instagram really work?
Content is king. Trying to understand मेरे industry में भी क्या work कर रहा है. When you see a Deepika Padukone wear a certain kind of a dress or a jewelry, it seems a bit unreachable. Too tall, perfect body, perfectly sprayed. 15 people have got her ready. But when you see a Hina or an Aneri do it by themselves, you know they're achieving a certain look by themselves. That feels achievable.
If we talk about these youngsters who want to start their own journey of being an influencer, how should they network? Does followers matter? Hi guys, I'm Maneri and I'm sitting here with Hina Somani. This is my 6th episode and we are going to talk all about fashion blogging, influencing and all about styling and how we can influence young aspirants. Also laymen, how we can style things up from the wardrobe, from the things we have in our wardrobe, etc. And also we are going to talk about how can a beginner start their career as a fashion blogger. So welcome Hina, and I'm really happy to have you on my 6th episode. And we really want to know, how did everything start for you? How did you start as a blogger or an influencer right now? Because you're doing quite well. So many fashion students look up to you, which like I am in terms with, I generally talk with so many students I have, and they look up to you. So I think that's beautiful. And tell me about you.
Thank you so much for a beautiful introduction. So the journey has been quite long. It's almost going to be a decade of being in the fashion industry. And more than just blogging and influencing, I think it's been in fashion and styling industry, like I said, it's been a decade. So from where I started was I was studying in Singapore. I went to do a course actually first in mass communication. And I was a very underconfident girl, let's say almost like 20 kgs more than what I am today. And I would hate looking at myself in the mirror. I have goosebumps saying it when I say I used to hate myself. Because in those days, it's now so accepted, body positivity, and there's people are against body shaming. But at that point, being in the fashion industry meant there was a certain stereotype. You have to be thin, you have to be tall, and I'm short. And, there were so many things that made me underconfident. And so I, instead of choosing what I love, went for another course, which I hated. But somehow just passed through the diploma and then said, you know what, I really cannot do this for like 10 years from now. I have to put the courage to kind of get something into fashion, because one thing I knew that I had decent visual ability and in terms of putting things together. But I did not know where to channelize it. Like, I wanted to help people feel confident, because that was the time I started getting into makeup and playing with my clothes. And that brought me a lot of confidence, which I thought would be lovely if I could just pass this on in some way. So I was in Singapore, and when I there were only 2-3 international bloggers at that point, would just look at them and I thought, it's something I can do. And I did bring it up to my parents as well at that point. And at that point, internet itself was new, right? They were like, what the hell? You would have placed your photos online. You've lost your mind. And yeah, even I thought I've lost my mind at that point. So not many people know I had this hidden blog. It is hidden right now on the internet, but I had it then. Very similar to what it is now. But finally came back after my studies, and I thought, you know what, this is what I truly enjoy doing. So let me get into image consulting. So I did a course in that.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I was one of the youngest image consultants, and now I was teaching other students. I passed on, and they really liked my performance. So I kind of went ahead in that field. And that's when I realized the content that we had in that point, this is what I'm saying, 2013, 14, it's almost, like I said, a decade back. It was very outdated. Like, things like, just let's say, for example, if you are a pear body shape, which means you're heavier on the bottom, you should not wear printed pants, which right now anybody would be like, what the hell? You know, everybody type can wear anything.
Yeah.
So it just seemed very outdated in those days as well. So for my students, actually, I thought, let me start a YouTube channel so that I'd have some content to show them. And then I started doing beauty videos there, and I started doing these styling videos, and some of my videos on Navratri. Like at that point, no content on Navratri on the internet existed.
I
Like,
see.
there was just nothing. So we did like a styling of Navratri series, which did very well because nothing like there was no inspiration for people in this field. And then actually to promote my YouTube, I went on Instagram. So I started one by one. And in those days, to be a blogger, you had to have a WordPress website. So that was the beginning point, and then YouTube, and then this. So eventually, gradually, it has happened for me. Honestly, was not a dream or an aspiration per se to be a blogger or an influencer. It just truly was to kind of make people feel confident at the base of it, because I knew I hated myself in the mirror, and it's almost like when I wore that dress that made me feel confident, I put on the little makeup and did better styling. I just feel like, you know what, this is good, and my energy passed on to you. Your energy again passes on to the whole room, and I knew that it's more than just your outer appearance. It's so much more your inner confidence.
Right.
Just wanted to spread that, and then one thing after the other has just led to me being here.
Oh my God. Yeah. Superb. So after that, how did you start collaborating with brands and everything? How did that start?
So, like I said, first I was on YouTube, and I would start getting a few emails from brands that, they'd like to get in touch, and they'd like me to do some promotions. And honestly, at that point, I was very lost. Not many people were there also in the industry. I think this was the point where 2 or 3 bloggers had just started, like the OG ones right now that exist. And there was no blueprint कि कितना charge करना है, कैसे करना है, how to talk to them. So I somehow just knew how to do Photoshop and how to because I was in a business fashion school, I knew how to kind of possibly communicate, is what I understand now. But in those days, I was just like role balling. Somebody was asking, and I took out the time to kind of make something and send them my commercials. And I really underplayed at that point. We were working for
That's how we start.
that's how you start, right? And it just happened that one thing led to another. And also, what I think really helped was a lot of media houses were getting in touch in Ahmedabad, and they were trying to understand. And that led to a lot of conversations with local brands. So I think locally, I spoke to a lot of people, kind of making them understand what this can do for them.
Yeah.
Even though in those days, initially, it sounded like a joke, it's only COVID that made it so big. In terms of monetizing and everybody starting to aspiring to it, because uske pehle it was a bit like, oh my god, my profile's gonna be private. And, like that is the notion in those days. Oh my gosh, it's a public profile. Taboo in those days when I started. So yeah, I mean, from that to here, it was very slow progression, meeting people, making them understand what marketing can do. And a beautiful example that I felt is still very, very, very relevant is when you see a Deepika Padukone wear a certain kind of a dress or a jewelry, it seems a bit unreachable in terms of too tall, perfect body, perfectly sprayed. 15 people have got her ready. But when you see a Hina or an Aneri do it by themselves, they're achieving a certain look by themselves.
Yeah.
And that really inspires, because now that feels achievable.
Relatable.
Yeah, relatable is another word that you can do. So, and also how they can do it, right? It's not so like mujhe aata bhi nahi hai, and now we are telling you also how to do it, and it's possible to do it by yourself. So that brands understood, audience understood, slowly, gradually, but it happened.
Yeah, correct. So now if we talk about after decades, this was your beginning, but when we talk about 2024 or 2025, how should a beginners start their career if they want to go into influencing?
So I think this was the relevance even then, and it's even today. You have to find what's authentic to you. For me, it took a long time to understand what I like to do, you know. And to be honest, the younger generation now just knows better. They have a lot more options, they have a lot more data, they have a lot more case studies, like everything to kind of see. हमें तो पता ही नहीं था हम, you know, we were just doing everything. I did fashion also, and I thought, you know, let me just do like every possible category. And because there's so much in this that you have to understand that my expertise is fashion and beauty, and rest are my nibbling points, like just, you
Yeah.
know, small points that I touch. They're just parts of my life. But
Correct.
tomorrow you can't expect me to do a cookbook or recipe.
Correct.
It just is not me. I don't know it, and I don't feel it.
Right.
So now they just know better what's their language, and finding what's authentic to them is one. Two, I think what is the value you can bring to the audience? Right
Yes.
now, what I see a gap is we are seeing what the brands want,
Yeah.
which is great. The
Yeah.
brands want to see this and brands want to see that. But truly, the bigger influencers, so as you say nowadays, are the ones who are catering to the audience. For me, it's always like, what does my audience take back when they come to my channel? And I clearly know when they open it, it's like styling. You know, that's one thing that they take back is how to put things together.
Yes.
So I think that message has to be very clear in your mind and theirs.
Yeah.
And that just, what's your personal authentic take on it? Because,
Correct.
you know, it took me like, some people suggested, oh, do transitions or a dance karo, ye karo. I said, my expertise is to put a look together. Like
Correct.
you give me like random things and random jewelry, and I'll put a look together. And I like to do it in an elegant way.
Yeah.
And each to its own, everybody has their own style, and it's just not mine. And you know, I would be so uncomfortable doing all of that, and I just did not want to do it. So basically, finding your authentic voice, what is true to you, what you truly like, and what you can bring to the table for the audience.
So technically, that's your strength.
Yeah.
And once you know the strength that you have, what next? Like they should have an Instagram account. Of
Yeah.
course, that's
Yeah.
a prerequisite. But one more thing is that you also have to upload maybe daily, be consistent. So all those things, like what exactly should be done? Like if I have clothes or accessories in my wardrobe, should I start with that?
Yeah, definitely. So it really, once you know what you're good at, right? So, for example, you love putting things together of already what you have. Maybe you're somebody who wants to promote sustainable fashion, that, you know, you don't need to always go out and buy a new outfit.
Correct.
And maybe you do want to promote that, whatever suits you. And then, or possibly you want to promote luxury, either category that you've chosen. Then you have to understand the audience of that category. For example, it's luxury audience, then you can't just be doing random uploads. Then everything
Correct.
has to have a certain vibe and a look, because then you are also targeting a brand. If you are doing this as a business, then you have to think 360 degree. In terms of having an account, having some basic equipments. Now there are hundreds of videos. If you just type like, you know, what 5 equipments I need, like a basic tripod, lighting,
Yes.
or possibly a sweet space to kind of shoot, and finding like your tonality of voice. If you have these things, then that's it. You can just start, because nowadays it's become very easy. And possibly give yourself like a target of, let me film 10 videos. Once I'm confident that I can be consistent in this, then you can also see the audience's response and where you want to improve. In fact, YouTube is also a great platform right now. If you want to do long format content and have an audience that is super connected to you,
Yes.
and loyal to you, then that's YouTube for you. And also, I think being updated that platforms might change.
Yeah.
There might be a new platform tomorrow that you need to
Yeah.
update and be like, you know, accept. So truly, the love for creating has to be there, because you don't know how you'd create. Like, we started as YouTubers, you're talking like 20 minutes, we were blabbering in front of the camera. Now 20 seconds, like my manager is like, 20 seconds bahut ho gaya, isko short karo. I
These
think,
days, yeah.
yeah, so I'm just like, from 20 minutes, we've come down to 15 seconds of content. We had to adapt and kind of bring value in 15 seconds.
And the importance of hooks.
Yeah.
That the 3 seconds
Yeah.
of the start. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
everything. So we had to be updated. We had to learn, because the love for creating was more than the change. Yeah, so I think that
Yeah.
also just being open that what you're doing this, because when you will have a baseline of why, what, right?
Yeah.
Which platform will not matter.
Right. But when you're in this early phase, like that at that time you don't really know that you will be able to monetize this.
Yeah, yeah.
So how can you be so confident ki no, I have to be consistent. I have to wake up every day. I have to do this. Because that is the time where you don't really get anything, in terms of money. So how is the journey like?
So I don't have I honestly do not have a practical answer to this. I in fact have quite a spiritual answer. It's that you can't run behind the outcome. Unfortunately, it's not in your hands. Like, it's as simple as that. Because, I can say that, if you do like 20 videos and the 21st video will hit and it's going to go viral, unfortunately, you don't know the algorithm. And there are so many factors to it. What's the quality of your videos? Like you said, if there's a hook on that day when you're uploading, if the algorithm is supporting, how strong your content is, if your audience at that point is ready to accept that kind of, like, there are literally hundreds of aspects, right, that would make your video perform better. Truly the love for creating and truly the love for passion and for your industry. Like for me, if it's fashion, beauty, for you, for example, it's fitness, for somebody it's cooking, for somebody it could be a wellness, spirituality, whatever they kind of prefer. Because I know some people have just made amazing content just on hair. So, each to its own, whatever category you pick, you really have to love it enough that even if this goes offline, I'll still be committed to this.
Yeah.
Because when you do not attach a purpose, you'll always run behind the outcome. And like I said, unfortunately, the outcome really is not in your hands. Um, In terms of a practical advice, yes, you can have like a target, like I said, 10, 20 videos, give it your all, have it properly filmed, and, understand what is a hook, what are the timings that work, and how many seconds does it work, and possibly have other people who are doing it in the industry kind of take them as a case study and follow their path, putting your own spin to it. Because, see, the only thing you can bring to the table is your personality. उससे ज्यादा तुम्हारे पास कुछ है नहीं, कैमरास तुम्हारे नहीं है, your it's the same t-shirt, it's the same pant, it's the same jewelry.
Yeah.
It's your like there's this beautiful conversation I have with a few friends of mine. It's like it's your you-ness that you bring. That's it.
Yeah.
There's really nothing else you have in this to bring. So if your authenticity is there, it's just gonna
Correct.
I think would do well.
Yeah. So when we talk about monetizing, does followers matter?
Yeah, of course it does matter in terms of having to charge or in terms of having to make it a full-time job.
Right.
Definitely it matters. But also now agencies and audience and brands have become smarter. If you have these fake followers, they can catch it in 5 minutes.
Correct.
So all that route I don't see fit ki just because the number matters, let's just buy them or, go on that side of the internet altogether. But yes, it does matter. It's not that a 10K follower cannot monetize their whatever page or online blogging, whatever content space that they have, they can. It's what they bring to the table. If in their niche it's working, then yes. But yeah, to make it full time, to be cut to chase, yes, it matters. You can be like, it doesn't matter. It really does matter. So that's that.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is.
And when we talk about agencies, you took their name. So is it good to collaborate with a PR agency or some stylists or some kind of brands or multi-designer studios and just like spread that word that, hey, I'm here. This is my profile if in case. So is that a good idea to do?
Yeah, definitely. I think approaching yourself and kind of doing it in a subtle way, there's no harm about it because it's part of networking. Unless you don't put yourself out there, there's no way people are going to know
You shouldn't
that
shy
that's what
away.
you...
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Correct.
It's what you do. And
Correct.
you should love it and you should accept it fully. And I think you should embrace it. Yes, not to a level of like nagging them. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If it is what you do, then it's what you do. And something will hit. Something will definitely hit.
So there's one viral reel which might just change your life, is what I have heard.
Yeah, it could be a viral reel. And a beautiful thing that I believe in is it doesn't have to be that viral reel. It could be that you showed up for 2 months straight every single day. And the last one performed anyway better than the first one. So your progress is there.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be that one reel, because like some people say, oh, wo ek reel tera 1 million chala gaya. But you know, uske pehle I had one reel that did 10K, then it did 20, then it did 30,
Yeah.
40. It wasn't like my 10 pe thi and I had reached 1 million overnight and oh, you're a sensation. It doesn't work like that. Yes, for a few, there are of course exceptions are there. A lot of people have had a journey where like 1 or 2 videos have gone viral and they've gotten into this space. It's of course, everybody's story is also different.
Yeah.
Again, if you see, the theme is always going to be do it because you love it. Because my story could be, oh, एक video viral चला गया और दूसरा बोलेगा नहीं मैंने तो रोज मेहनत की थी और फिर हुआ. So you really don't know what's your story until you truly do it for the love of it.
Correct. Superb. And one more thing I want to ask you is, how does Instagram really work? Now you've cracked it.
Yeah.
So I really want some tips from you, which we can tell us,
Yeah.
or we can tell to our audience that how does it work? Like
In terms of
in terms of the reach, in terms of your reel getting on the explore page of someone's feed and all of that.
yeah, okay. Content is king. That's it. Truly, if your content is strong, then what timing you upload and how you're doing it, it really doesn't matter. If your content is strong enough, if it's shareable, it's savable for people, it helps them, and it's something that they've not heard before, this is going to perform. And for having it to be on an explore page, you just have to really think that what is it that possibly I would share with my friends or save so that, you know, maybe it's going to be helpful to me later. Maybe, so like in fashion, we say, for example, you're doing a list of brands that are under 10K.
Right.
So it's something that possibly I don't have the budget right now, but I'll, if somebody's wedding is coming up or an occasion is coming up, I might go back to that reel. So
Correct.
you know?
Correct.
So
I also
thinking
know that.
from that perspective that, you know, what is going to be helpful to my audience, audience के लिए जो भी helpful है वही perform करने वाला है. Content is king. If your content has some substance, it's going to perform. But if you're just I know, especially in fashion space, I know a lot of people just coming and posing in front of the camera. As beautiful as you are, I'm sorry, it's not going to do anything, because I mean there's just so much clutter right now. There's just so much clutter. So if you don't bring some substance, some life to it or some helpfulness to it, then it's not going to perform. And I think from where I stand right now, some videos we don't look at performance. We are okay if it doesn't perform as much as we thought, or we are not looking at every video just hitting virality per se. Sometimes it's also about targeting a very niche audience.
Yes.
That will come, I think, at a much later stage.
Yes.
So, to answer your question, like in a concise manner, would be one, content is king, having your content be the star of it. Also learn what is working right now, like a good video qualities. I know a lot of like people who are into talking videos but will not have their audio sorted, or will do it at a much lower quality. And yeah, how many videos you like to watch at a lower quality? Unfortunately, not many.
Yes.
Unless it's just entertainment, random person dancing at their home. You really don't want to watch that kind of quality content, especially when you're taking in learning something. You know, trying to understand मेरे industry में भी क्या work कर रहा है, that matters. Little bit of analytics. I'm a person of numbers, so I do believe that if you understand your numbers, what time my audience is maximum active, trying to upload at that point, am I cluttering their minds? So if you kind of just pause and think about it, everything is just think about the audience. Be the audience and you'll have your answer.
And I think there are some few courses in how Instagram really works. Do you recommend any?
I honestly have done none. Okay. So with the experience of we just do it and
correct. Okay.
We've done it all via trial and error. Unfortunately, I will not be able to recommend a particular course.
Okay.
Whatever calls out to you, whatever you feel like calls out to you, you feel like, you know, this is what is going to help, then for sure. And also just trusting the process and trying different things by yourself is also a great way. Yeah, you can delete it tomorrow. Yeah, like if you do a video that doesn't look good, delete it. It's okay. Like, you know,
There are quite a few people who say that never delete a reel because it can go viral anytime.
Yeah, I know, but in deleting, I meant
Yeah.
in terms of, like, for example, मैंने आज ये content, but I'm not happy with its quality.
Correct.
1 year down the line, if I feel like it's not worth my profile,
Relevant, yeah.
I mean, point being, just do your trial and error. You feel like it's not relevant to my personality, you can let it go.
Right.
I mean, it's okay. It's really okay. And even if it's there, you don't have to be the same person forever.
Correct.
Okay to grow in your content and do a little bit of trial and error, because truly the experience will only come with you. Having a certain guideline is great. But if you're going to be authentic, then you're not going to have anybody to look up to, right? Thoda apna spin jo dalna hai, that's only going to come to you.
Correct. And I also have seen your brand, which is really beautiful, the
Thank
jewelry
you.
brand
Thank
which
you
you're
so
doing,
much.
and
Thank
you're
you so much.
promoting it in a very subtle way in your page.
Yeah.
And I checked out all your Navratri looks. I should say that I'm a fan.
Thank you.
And I really want to ask you, this is my personal question, that is it sort of an easy way out where you are a little famous, you have your personal brand, and then is a good time to launch your product brand, you know?
Yeah.
So is it a good way to go by? Like, what would you say?
Yeah. Again, each story has its own spin. I've also seen a lot of people have a brand and they've made their brand so strong that to promote their brand, they had to come in front of the camera and now have become
Right.
just create that out of force of nature rather than wanting to do this. And then I have seen people who are into content and had this that, you know, let us build some audience and then get into it.
Yeah.
Either ways, people are only going to buy a product if they truly relate to it. And, you know, that as a separate brand also has some value to it. Of course, it's helpful. Like, let me put it out there, because I had this following, we grew even much faster than any brand who would have started new, 110%, because I did have that trust in that my audience had in me, possibly that network that I had, that, you know, they trusted that if I'm starting something new, they also wanted to also support me.
True.
Because they were just like, oh, she's starting something new, let us just extend our hand to her.
Exactly.
So if that way 110%, it helps you a lot. Is that the only way? No, for sure not. It's a helpful way, definitely. And there is no, I mean, for me, I also personally see it as two separate businesses, which is why you will see me promote other jewelry brands and other accessory brands on my page.
Right.
Also, because there's an expertise we bring to the table and there's an expertise they bring to the table, and there's no need to mix that up. And they are two separate businesses for me. And that's how I like to keep it. I don't know what's the future that's going to hold. I enjoy both bits of my life equally, because this is a lot more business side. Like, my jewelry brand is a lot more business side, a lot of back end meetings, agencies, and, like, you know, doing a lot of like development of products, how to sell it, sales, marketing, accounting, which is like, there's so many other aspects,
Yes.
which I did not see as much when I was just doing content. But I've realized I truly enjoy that. Actually, a lot more than being in front of the camera now.
Oh, wow.
yeah. I actually have realized that now some days I'm just like, oh, I'm so tired. Like, you know, being in front of the camera. And sometimes it does get exhausting.
Yeah.
Because you see, camera catches your energy.
Yeah.
It truly catches your energy. And the days you're not feeling up to it,
Yeah.
you really, I mean, and also I've realized this after a long time, that the days that I wasn't feeling good, my energy shows on a video. It's just how it is. Your energy shows, your body language, how you're not 100% there. And if you're not 100% there, then it doesn't perform also.
Correct.
So yeah, and it gets a bit taxing to always be prim and proper. And it's a bit of a pressurizing industry, to be honest. It is.
Correct. Yeah. So if I ask you that, which business out of these two I'm not asking about you, but
Yeah.
you can just,
Yeah.
like general question, general answer you can give. So if we have like a product business and if we have a service business, which is more like we are a fashion influencer or some kind of influencer, what brings more money? If you want to answer it in a very generalized way.
Oh God, it's a very subjective question. Both have a lot of money. If your product does go off the shelf, then you know it's something that's going to make you more money, and also it's more long term,
Hmm.
right? It's something that you can keep doing it a lot more. Also, it's a bit more reliable
Hmm.
than influencing because one, this industry is changing a
Yes.
lot.
Yes.
Tomorrow you could just have a glitch on Instagram and you can't upload, and then you're
Yes.
stuck altogether. Like I said, you really should love doing something offline as well.
Yes.
Because if you don't have this online platform, then what?
Then what?
Because see, newer platforms will come now. AI has come, something else will come. Like, you know, you just really don't know.
Yeah.
And it's just my opinion. You started this, and I know people are doing this at every age group, at every body type, at every stage of their lives. But you really don't know also how long do you want to do this. At least
Yeah.
for me, sometimes I feel like maybe after 10 years, I don't want to be in front of the camera all the time. And, you know, maybe
Yeah.
I'm done with it. And maybe
Yeah.
I want to pursue something else in my life and in a similar space. But that's not the format that I want to follow. So, yeah, I do think that the product one is more long term.
Yes.
And if it does go off the shelves, could make you a lot more money. Influencing also has a lot of money. But the thing about influencing is every month is very different. So be prepared that it's an up and down.
Yes.
Yes, it's a job that you can take up full time, but if you're not doing it well, like as a serious business,
Yes.
it could be a shaky path.
Yes.
Like you could be making good money one month and next month you're literally like down and you're like, you know, and so if you're somebody who's making ends meet every month, then
Correct.
yeah, I would suggest have a product business
Correct.
or another job on the side that kind of pays those bills because overnight the industry's mentality can also change.
Right.
We've seen the change. Like, you know, there were times that brands were ready to pay whatever, then there were brands who were not ready to pay anything, and now it's like there's so much competition.
Yes.
That, you know, now brands also come and tell us, or even agencies will tell us that, you know, this is what is working in the industry, that's not. So what possibly was working 2 years back may not work 2 years later, and if you're just depending on that
Yes.
one thing, it could be, and especially if you're the bread maker of the house, like, you know, if you are running the house, then yes, I don't think it's that reliable. It's definitely money making in terms of if you do
Short term.
well,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I would not suggest to have that as a only. And you'll see today, if you see any influencers case study, who are doing well, they all have started a side business. They've all
Yes.
done it because they
Yes.
understand. I mean, they understand that this could not be the same every month. It's like, you know, when it's festive season, we don't have time to breathe. We are like doing socializing also, and
Yeah.
meeting our family also. We're running, we're doing brand videos and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And there's a month like May, you literally start to doubt, like, am I in the right industry? Like, am I doing something wrong?
No,
Because
yeah,
it's
that
like, it's really
happens.
up. It's like literally that graph. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, it's not reliable.
So, Hina, this is my last question to you that if we talk about these youngsters who want to, start their own journey of being an influencer, how should they network? How should they connect with the right people? Can you give us some ideas?
Yeah, so a great way would be to keep great relations with PR agencies and also a lot of influencer agencies right now, because these are the people now that are connecting brands with influencers. That's one. Also being careful because again, there are a lot of agencies also that have come in, a lot of like, you know, freelancer agencies that have started. So kind of knowing the industry a lot more and networking within the industry would help. I think a great way to network also is to have influencer friends and like, you know, just being in the industry, because I feel like just knowing what's happening is great. Also not losing your voice. Being said all of this, be who you are and keep a good relation with them. So it will just help you be like they say, out of sight is out of mind. So if you're in their sight, it's a good thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's truly a good advice to just be practical and have good networking with them. Above all, it again comes down to the audience. If your content is good, they'll come behind you and not the other way.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
So yeah, that's I think, to put it short, I think keeping a good relation. I think also one-on-one with brands, also you can keep great relations and
Yes.
just come from a space of I enjoy doing this, and I think eventually everybody will catch on to that energy, and it will work for the brands as well. It will work for the agencies as well. Definitely having a networking, if you have a network that's strong in this sector where like PR agencies in fashion or like in beauty, then yeah, definitely it's going to be of great help to kind of cut through the line.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct, correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got all my answers, and I so let's play, like not really play, but this is like a rapid fire round.
Okay.
I will be asking you very quick questions. You have to
Okay.
answer in a word or a
Okay.
sentence.
Okay.
It's fun. It's
Okay.
a little informative for people who
Okay.
are watching it, and it's fun for us. Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay. So the first question for you is, does this profession take a toll on your mental health?
Oh yes,
Really?
yeah, I've been in a space where I've been completely down, and yeah, it's a huge conversation. It's definitely not a rapid fire question.
It's
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
I know this, and that is why I asked
Yeah,
you.
the
and it
numbers
feels-
kind of pull you down or can pull you up, either ways.
Hmm,
It really affects you because it's a lot of pressure.
pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any courses or books you recommend for the beginners for the fashion world or influencing?
Not specifically for like influencing, but for example, if you want to get into fashion, then of course read like the history of fashion and kind of understand how fashion has evolved. And either ways, whichever is your category, use category kind of understanding the background is going to be very, very helpful. And yeah, I honestly don't have any courses that I can recommend. I think just being in the industry and having its knowledge through books or even just kind of studying your industry is what I would
Yeah.
suggest.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Who's your favorite Indian influencer right now? Fashion. You can
Wow.
name one or more.
Right now. So there's this influencer, she's Radhika, if I'm not mistaken, her surname is Bharadwaj. She's doing some great festive content, very aesthetic, very similar Get Ready With Me's that I like. So I really enjoy her stuff. Then I would say, oh God, I also really enjoy House of Misu. They're one of the OGs in doing this. I think I just love how from more than anything, I think I love how they've kind of been consistent and always been there for their audience and have not left their aesthetics. So that's definitely something that I prefer. And I also love Kusha Kapila. I think she's quite funny and is now doing like really lovely fashion stuff.
Right. Correct. Okay. How much can an average fashion blogger with approximately 50K followers earn in a month?
Oh, wow. Straight to the point. I have absolutely no idea.
Can you give us like a range?
I really don't know. I really don't know for a 50K right now what's working. I mean, the reason I tell you I can't put a figure to this is it's really such a personal choice. I know people who are doing 30 collabs a month, and then there are people who just want to do 5 big ones. So truly, it's your choice, what path you're taking. For me, I like to filter it out and not do 30 collabs a month.
Yeah.
And just do a few that are relevant to my audience. So I possibly don't get that chance of earning, like, I could earn like 5 times more than what I am today. But it's a choice, which is why I honestly don't know the number. I really don't know.
Can you give us a range?
I don't know, for a 50K follower in fashion space, is it? Fashion and beauty. I don't know, maybe 1 lakh or so?
Okay.
Maybe,
enough.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm guessing.
So this was because, people will understand how much they can get if they get into this. Yes. Just for that.
I honestly don't know, because I'll tell you, the prices in this industry also change quite a bit.
Yeah.
As the competition comes in, the same brand is not ready to pay what they were like 6 months ago. So it is honestly very unstable commercially. But yeah, I think this could be.
Correct.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, no problem. Name a trend you dislike these days. You can name more also.
What trend I dislike? I don't understand Crocs.
I see. Yeah,
I don't get it.
I know.
And I hope this is not what they see. And sometimes I get Crocs on my page and I'll be like super embarrassed that it's already out there on the internet. Oh God. Because no, but I tell you, I really appreciate that brand for how they are bringing new stuff. Like I recently saw they've done some festive shoes, which are honestly very relevant. But like, I mean, the classic typical ones that people wear as a fashion statement, I don't understand. From a comfort point of view, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That
yeah, in terms of like, yeah, in terms of like being it a fashion statement, I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. Fair enough. Anything else?
I really can't click.
Okay,
right
no
now.
problem. No problem. What's one tip you would give to someone dreaming of a career as a fashion influencer? One tip.
Just be authentic. Just find your voice. I think that's what you truly enjoy. What's your strength? Just find that. And
Yeah, and not.
everything else will just fall in place.
Yeah, and I feel there are people who are trying to be someone else because they adore someone else, and I don't think that works.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's why you don't get the numbers, and then you reflect कि मैं कहाँ गलत चली गई या मैं कहाँ गलत चला गया, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? Like, why am I the one who's not getting? Because I speak to so many of my friends who are in this industry. They're like, मेरे numbers नहीं आते. It's because, you don't know what your voice is yet. You're just doing, if somebody else's get ready with me is working, then you're also doing that. If somebody else's cooking video is working, so you're doing that also.
Yeah.
Somebody else is twirling, so you're
Yeah.
also twirling. Somebody did a transition, so it is never gonna work. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's never gonna work like that. Because, for me, I've seen like so much in my industry. When I was doing it, I've tried so many things, and I remember there was this manager, I told him that, please, I can't do this anymore. I love doing my like styling videos and let me stick to it, because so many people tell me, why don't you try different locations and this and that. I said, to be very honest, these are the videos, like my location is what gets me the maximum views, because they don't look at me for my location, they look at me for my styling. End of story.
Correct.
So I don't have to overthink this.
Correct. Superb. Okay. What piece of wisdom do you wish you had when you started your career? Something you want to change or something you want to tell your younger self?
Oh wow, I have goosebumps in this question. It's a beautiful question. My younger self, I would just say things are gonna work out. Yeah.
You were underconfident.
I was underconfident. I was always stressed out. I didn't believe in myself. And also, I think why I'm stressing on this point of loving what you do, I've always in my heart loved it, but didn't do it from that space. I always did it from a space of fear. Like, I won't be successful. I need to prove myself. And like,
Oh my God, yeah.
It came from that space rather than, I really love this, which in my heart I have loved it. But now, when I wake up, I truly love it. But I used to do it out of like, oh my God, everybody else is doing it. I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. I have to meet my numbers. And so, fortunately, the stress is off my head. I'm at a good space. Yeah.
Okay, super. And the last question. What's one Instagram algorithm tip that you learned the hard way?
Actually, honestly, the algorithm is changing a lot every day. So we are also always experimenting that, but I think timing is something that I learned the hard way. Timing is also quite important, or what time you should upload according to your audience, like what time your audience is active. And another what I learned, it just clicked me, is that I used to think that quantity was more important. Quantity content, like rose dalna. And I realized the hard way that I don't have to burn myself out. My audience appreciates me even if I upload 4 times a week. In fact, उनको पता भी नहीं है कि मैंने 3 दिन नहीं डाला है. Like, it's that. So I learned that the hard way. After, there was a time we used to upload twice a day.
Oh my God, that's too much for us.
So, I realized that I was completely burned out. That's when I had the maximum low hit for my mental health also. Because, of course, doing 2 videos or 2 pieces of content, and at that point you didn't even have a team like
Yeah.
as big as now.
Exactly.
So you were just completely exhausted, and now that I just feel like I'm taking a break. Not worried,
Yeah.
because my audience truly is looking for quality content, not just रोज कुछ भी डालो.
हाँ.
डाल रहे हो तो अच्छा डालो.
बस,
Like that.
yeah, correct, correct.
That's that. I learned it the hard way.
Super. This is fab. Thank you so much,
Thank
Reena. This is
Amazing.
amazing. I had fun and I learned so much with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Beautiful energy.
Guys, you should like, share, and subscribe because I am going to talk about a lot of fashion stuff. Sitting with beautiful people in the industry, we will be talking about different genres in fashion. So, guys, check out my next video as well. Thank you so much. Like, share, and subscribe.